welcome to the Quarterback's Room. We're glad you're joining us. Sorry it's been a short minute, but, kind of life catches up to you sometimes. Just wanted to say thank you for everybody who's been patient with us coming out. It's been a busy few weeks for us here. A lot of things happening, a lot of moving parts. But a simple reminder, the Quarterback's Room is brought to you by Florida Football Prep. That's Florida Football Prep for all your football needs, whether it is customized team gear or top-notch training, professionally prepared footballs that are game ready. We've got what you need at the Quarterback's Room. And we're starting to feature more and more quarterback-oriented gear, as in T-shirts, etc., that you can get. Every quarterback likes having kind of cool shirts to wear. So give us a look, www.floridafootballprep.com. That's www.floridafootballprep.com. So it's kind of been a few weeks since the Super Bowl, and then we had the Combine, and it's kind of a dead period in football. So we kind of thought we'd talk a little bit about maybe the upcoming UFL season, some of the AFL, and talk a little bit about what Miles is doing, getting ready on the youth side for football going into the fall. So one of the more interesting things going on right now in the UFL, it seems like the players have been organizing and the owners aren't really a big fan on it. Now, it's kind of interesting to see how the collective bargaining agreement is shedding out. And Miles, you're not an expert on the legal side or unionization.
No.
But did you see some of what was going on, and what did you think?
No, I didn't. Like the AFL?
Yeah, no, not in the AFL, in the UFL.
No, I didn't see it.
So what's going on is the unions have what's called a collective bargaining agreement, and the players are unionized. And they get to sit down with the owners, and they hammer out contract details. And evidently, the owners are putting a lot of pressure on the players and the reps, denying them access, everything like that, cutting players, literally cutting players that have the audacity to potentially try to get more for the players that are working with the union. So, look, I get it. The UFL does not bring in a lot of money, but it's you got to take care of the players. There's players that get hurt, players that get like career-ending injuries. There's a lot of things that happen in football. So, Miles, do the players play in the UFL for money?
No, not at all.
I mean, what kind of money do you think those guys make?
Like 80,000, 70,000, something in that area.
Yeah, they don't get paid a lot of money. So I think the top tier guys may get upwards to 100, but they'll make anywhere from 75 to 85,000 on average. And yeah, they're only working 2-3 months, maybe 3.5 months, to get that kind of money. So it's not that bad in that amount of time. And a lot of people will say, well, hell, that's more than a lot of people make in a year. And they can get additional jobs and everything after that. But the interesting thing when you're playing in a league like that, to get a job that allows you to leave for 3.5-4 months for football every year, you're not going to get a really good job. You're going to get menial type work, construction, an Amazon driver, for instance. You may end up being something like that. So there's a lot of things at stake for these guys, and I hope that they don't move forward. There's the potential they could strike, but I think the league is so tenuous that if the players were to strike, the league could literally disband or shut down operations for the year and potentially collapse because they don't make a lot of money. But the players don't make a lot of money because of that. It's kind of like it's kind of like when you look at some of the other upstart sports leagues that they just don't get paid a lot. Um, Miles, why do you think they do it?
They just do it for the love of the game.
You think they just love the game?
Yeah.
It's hard. I've seen a lot of times where guys struggle to quit playing. They love the game. They dream of playing in the NFL. They finish their college careers, and it's hard for them to give it up. I mean, we've seen it. We've had friends that have gone through that, and I'll never forget. They're sitting with a close friend of ours one day, and I'm not going to say who it was. But we were sitting up in the loft, and he had kind of confessed to me that he goes, I think my playing days are over, and I got to figure out what to do. And I have this idea about a business, and so we sat and talked around that. But it was weird to see him talk like that. And then of course the next day he got a call from the Los Angeles Rams and ended up going out there. But someday we'll do an episode about him.
Yeah.
But a lot of other guys we've known, when their playing days go up, they love to stay with the game. What's something else you think they're doing? What are some of our other friends that played, or what are they doing now? Where's JJ?
Coaching.
Yeah, they're all going into coaching. And, to me, I think that's a great way to stay in the game, stay close to the game that they love, and be able to bring up the next generation of players. So anyway, but the going back to the UFL, those guys aren't doing it for the love of the game. And then, not to be outdone, the Arena League seems to be having some issues of their own.
Yeah.
I know at least one or two teams have dropped out of the new Arena League 1 or whatever they're calling it. What really hurts us is that one of those teams is here in Orlando called the Orlando Predators, and we used to go to their games, and we had a friend that played on the team, and I literally text them and said, "Hey, are you playing this year?" And I get a text the next morning saying, "Funny you should ask that, because we just were told that we're not playing this year and that they're shutting the team down," and it happened. So I guess there's some kind of issues with dispersing the revenue sharing between the different teams that was not very fair, and some of the teams have backed out and aren't going to play this year or play in that league. They may shift to the indoor football league, which I'm not super familiar with. But it'll be interesting to see where that goes, because I can't go months and months and months with no football. So it's fun to watch a few games, and I will say that I always enjoyed watching the UFL games, because I used to really like the USFL games because they actually put on a pretty good product, and it was fun to watch. So anyway, as we move forward, it's also carousel time in the NFL. There's a few higher name quarterbacks that are out there looking for new homes.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
Who's
one of your favorite quarterbacks that's out there looking for a new home?
Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is looking, but who else is looking? The one whose gear you wear all the time, maybe? Miles, who owns Street Brand?
Oh, Russell Wilson. Yeah.
There you go. So I know Russell Wilson's been shopping around a little bit. I think Russell Wilson still has some gas in the tank, so to speak. He's getting to be a pretty senior quarterback at this time. But he put up decent numbers last year in Pittsburgh, and whether he stays at Pittsburgh or not is up in the air. I know he's had interviews with, for instance, the Jets and a few other teams. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I think the Jets is a place where senior quarterbacks go to die, unfortunately. Yeah. And you mentioned Aaron Rodgers, which is interesting. What on earth do you think happened to Aaron Rodgers in the in the NFL?
Honestly, I think it was old age and his one injury.
So you didn't have. See, to me, I think he got hurt. Like, what was it? The first series of the first game.
It wasn't even the first game. It was the preseason.
Oh my God. Anyway, so he got hurt and ended up sitting out the entire year last year with his Achilles, right?
Yeah.
And comes back, and they were supposed to be this great team. And what happened?
They didn't even make the playoffs.
Well, yeah.
And he got benched, I think.
They fired the coach halfway through the season. Honestly, I think that Aaron Rodgers had some issues on the field and personal issues. I think his attitude was not conducive to building a team atmosphere, which is what's the most important thing on when you're playing in a sports? What's the most important thing?
Leadership.
And what? You put the team in front of yourself,
Yeah.
right? I think there were some issues there. I don't think he just gelled. I think that he would go over the coach's head to the owners, and then the owners ended up firing the coach, and now they brought in a new coach, and they decided to separate from Aaron Rodgers. So where do you think Aaron Rodgers, if he still is going to play, where do you think he's going to land?
Nowhere.
Right, I actually kind of agree with you. I think that it would be an interesting situation for any team to bring him in. It would be kind of like the who was that wide receiver that everybody just he'd go in and he was toxic? Was that Terrell Owens? It was Terrell Owens, right?
I don't know.
Is that before your time, right?
I think.
Okay, so I was in the Army, and I was a relatively senior guy in the division I was in, and we had in the Army you have divisions, then brigades, then battalions, then companies. It's kind of the hierarchy of how things go. And we had one battalion or one brigade that was kind of a standoffish brigade. I was running the division operations at the time, and we called them the Terrell Owens Brigade because they kind of were the ones that were all in it for themselves all the time and were not good team players. So just remembered that. That's pretty crazy. But I just don't think that Aaron Rodgers is going to end up anywhere. What do you think?
I agree. He's not going to end up anywhere.
I think that it would be high risk. Now, I will say, and we said it here on the show the other day, is that this is a really weak draft class for quarterbacks. And I think that more senior guys that are looking for a home are going to find homes they normally wouldn't. And I think more backups potentially could find homes where they could end up playing and getting a starting role, simply because this class is, and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just saying, overall, they're all great athletes. They're all performing way better than I ever could. They are phenomenal guys. But they're not the strongest draft class. So it'll be interesting to see where all that ends up. So we're kind of done with football now, right?
Yeah.
So just wondering, and what are we doing right now for football?
I mean, we just finished the FBU camp.
So we're starting to do the camp season. It's early. We'll be doing camps at here in Orlando. We just did the football university camp, and Miles just did that. The good thing is he actually received an invite to what they call the Top Gun competition, which is an invite-only competition in Naples, Florida. So he'll be going down there this summer and participating in that. And it's a beautiful place to be, so it'll probably become a family trip. I know we've got the what is it? The NFA. The NFA camp is coming up in May. So that will go, and there's a quarterback competition that usually occurs after that called the duel, which we did last year. And it was a learning experience. It was your first ever quarterback competition. So it was a learning experience. And so now you know what to look for and what you need to do. So it'll be an interesting time for that. And then you'll do the duel. You've got some local camps for some of the local high schools you're going to do. We'll probably do the UCF camp again.
Yeah.
You want to do that one and maybe try to find another 1 or 2 college camps that we can get into. Remember, Miles is only 11. He's not in high school, so sometimes we got to call and get special arrangements so he can get in there and compete. I thought it was interesting last year. Do you remember when you did the UCF camp?
Mm-hmm.
So just a reminder, if you don't realize this, at different levels, you have different sizes of footballs. So when you're up to, I think it is 9 years old, you play, or is it 10? You play with the Pee-wee ball.
Yeah.
The Pee-wee ball.
It's to 11. No, wait, no. It's to 9.
9. And then from 9 to 12, you play with what's called a junior ball. Okay? It's a little bit bigger. And then you go from that to the youth ball, which you play from 12 to 14, and then 14 up, you play with you just go back, you go straight up full size. So when he goes to these high school camps and these college camps, he throws full-size footballs. Now, last year, when we were at the UCF camp, you were throwing full-size, and you held your own against a bunch of high school guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how many different coaches were asking you how old you were? In an impressed type of way. There were a couple, I know. I remember that Coach Martin asked specifically, didn't KJ Jefferson ask you how old you were?
Same with Jakari.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So he was slinging the ball with the other high school kids, and I was really impressed with how he played and held himself up against them. And guys, he was 10 at the time, and he's out there throwing a full-size football against high school guys, and he was in the 4th grade. So just a reminder, it's not that easy. And so we'll move into the camp season as we get into that. Plus, we'll do a camp over sometime in May that'll be for your Winter Park team, for your tackle team, as he gets ready for tackle football. And that'll go on for a week. We always do that, and we have a big scrimmage at the end of that. It'll probably be a little different this year because I'll probably be coaching on it. And then we'll do start in conditioning, which is your favorite part of the game. What do you dislike about conditioning?
The running.
You have to run, son. It's part of being a quarterback, being able to run away and not get tackled. It's kind of a good thing to get legs and get conditioning, because you got to play 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 30-minute halves.
But I'm on the field for like 20 minutes.
Okay, that's not a good way to look at things.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we've got that coming up, and then we'll be getting ready for the fall season. Which brings us back to, if you have a camp that you're interested in getting Miles to come out and compete in, reach out to us at the QB room at floridafootballprep.com and shoot us a note. We'll come out, we'll set up, we'll film, maybe even do a live show from there and help you out and get you some publicity for your camps and see how that goes. And that should be fun for everybody, and maybe get some of the other players on the air and let them see and talk about their experiences. And I think that would be a great show. With that being said, I think we've gone through a lot. And just a reminder that the Quarterback's Room is brought to you by Florida Football Prep. And if you want to wear cool shirts like Miles is wearing, the Baller quarterback T-shirt, or other really cool shirts, all made and sourced here in the United States. Great gear. We'll custom, and if you have custom needs, we'll take care of those too. So go to www.floridafootballprep.com, and remember, hit like, subscribe, and give us those 5-star reviews. We're available on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. So we do have the video show on YouTube. So give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we truly appreciate it. And if you have any questions, you can email those to the QB room at Florida Football Prep, and we'll try to answer those on air. With that being said, any final comments?
No, like never.
All right, buddy. We'll see y'all later.